Many Albertans still can't go home. That's the case for residents of Fox Creek. It's about 250 kilometers northwest of Edmonton, where a wildfire has been burning out of control. For more on this now, we've reached Sheila Gilmore in Whitecourt, Alberta. She's the mayor of Fox Creek. And also joining us is Kristen Milne. She's the Director of Emergency Management and Chief Administrative Officer for Fox Creek Municipality. Thank you both for joining us today.
Good morning and thank you.
You know, Mayor, I want to start with you first and with the news that's just coming into us here that we know that the Canadian Armed Forces have mobilized. They're heading out to specific areas within the province, and Fox Creek is one of those areas where they will be deployed. How are you feeling about that response?
I am feeling great. Any extra help that all levels of government and the Army can support or send to support us is actually wonderful news. The grounds on the crew, the crew on the ground, so sorry. They need a little extra help, I'm sure. And it is great to see that they're headed out to help us.
And I want to ask you more specifically, Kristen, perhaps, as you are in Fox Creek itself, that is one of the communities that is going to be seeing the help from these troops that have been deployed. Grand Prairie, Fox Creek, Drayton Valley areas. We were looking at some of the images of the Grand Prairie area. I wonder if you can give us some specifics on how these forces will be deployed and utilized within the province.
Yeah, so when they head in, it's our understanding they'll be fighting the fire directly on the front line. So they'll be working to put the fire out, starting from the perimeter and then working inwards to gain that perimeter and create a safety barrier almost for the community.
Okay, and so I'm sure that's very welcome supports that you guys are receiving there. Mayor, I want to go back to you because, of course, on the one hand, we're looking at containment and fighting the flames, but also you are in front of an evacuation center. Part of this, too, is offering support to the people who've been forced to leave their homes, including yourself. How have you been dealing with members of the community who are now in Whitecourt?
So I've been here every morning at the reception center. Sorry, being out in the parking lot, there's traffic coming and going, everyone, but I'm here to help the supports that I can, find out information, hand it down to the staff that needs to get them the help that they need. I've been here to listen to their stories and give them a hug if they need, try to find answers, try to help with the emotional roller coaster that we're all going through with the unknown about the fire in Fox Creek and when it would be contained and that we are safe to go home. Because first of all, we need to make sure that they're safe to go home before we can send them back. So I'm here just helping where I can, finding resources, handing out food, listening to stories, getting questions answered, and just to be able to give them a smile and know that we're here for them.
So then, Kristen, as we were listening there to Mayor Gilmore talk about people having a lot of questions, and in part that is the timeline of when they may be able to go home, when it might be safe for them to go home. How much do you know about timeline given the forecast right now?
So yeah, favorable conditions. It's hard to understand what this might look like moving forward. Predictions have us nervous. Crews are working really hard to establish those boundaries and those protection guides. They're back burning, they're making dozer guards, and they're doing some fire smarting around the community so that when and if it is time to come home, we have levels in place to protect our residents. But at this time, we're assessing it every day. Where we have people in the air, we have people on the ground that are studying the fire, and we will bring the community home as soon as it is safe to.
You know, you mentioned there that the forecast is concerning to you. I'm wondering if you can specifically tell us what it is that you're looking ahead to in the coming days.
Sure. Yeah, the heat is a big one. Fire activity typically picks up in the hot weather. Wind is also a concern, so we are monitoring wind patterns and the direction that they're going. So with the proximity of the fire being only 6 kilometers from the boundary of town, knowing that conditions can change quickly and being ready to react if they do.
You know, Mayor, I wanted to bring you in again and ask you, you've been having conversations with the residents of Fox Creek as they are awaiting in an evacuation center alongside with yourself. And I'm wondering what that has been like for you, because of course you're trying to support residents, but you yourself are also out of your home. How are you feeling?
As I said, the emotional roller coaster, but you know, I have great support from my family and my support system, so I can actually focus on needs that need to be met with residents that need to try to have the answers and get the emotional supports they need and finding some answers. So my support team is absolutely fabulous. And then knowing that the team in Fox Creek has a great support system there where they know what they're doing so that they can fight what they can fight, and I can be here alongside and lend a helping hand. As most small communities and even large ones, it's very nice to be able to lend a helping hand, and if it's even just giving them a piece of food or getting them a glass of water, it's good. So I can handle this because of my support team that I have in place for myself, for my needs. So that's just kind of how I'm handling it.
Kristen, finally, I wanted to ask you in terms of being on the front lines there and what supports are needed in that respect. We know that there are firefighters from other provinces that have been brought in. We were just talking about members of the Canadian Armed Forces. What additional supports might you need, might the team need on the ground going into, as you say, some concerning conditions?
Yeah, right now we are pretty good with our supports. It's been everywhere from food to hospitality to a lot of our oil and gas industry stepping up with heavy equipment and some water should be required. We've developed a list of local contractors and people that we know in the area that we can call should the fire start moving towards the community. It'll look like more heavy equipment, more labor, hauling hoses, getting sprinkler lines on. But right now that we've established quite a good network to be able to roll that quickly should it be required.
Well, I want to thank both of you because I know that you are both incredibly busy as you are dealing with these separate situations that are also the same. So thank you so much for your time in speaking with us today and telling Canadians what the situation is like there in Fox Creek, Alberta.